Happy day after Pride Month. It's July the 1st. We're done with Pride Month, but I'm going to teach you a lesson. If you're really bothered by Pride Month, if you really want to get rid of Pride Month, if you really want to silence the alphabet mafia, there's something you can do. I'm going to explain today. Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me. Awesome show planned for you today. I'm going to keep it real simple today. It's just me and you, and I have a special message for me and you today, and it's about Pride Month. But before I get there, I want to tell those of you that are Blaze TV subscribers, or give those of you that are not Blaze TV subscribers, incentive to become Blaze TV subscribers. You can get extra fearless content. Like today, you can see me and Shamika Michelle talking about Kamala Harris and the BET Awards and all that nonsense that went on last night with Kamala Harris. She's out in these streets and they ain't like us. And you saw Usher Raymond give this profanity-laced acceptance speech for a Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm going to unpack all of that and what it means with Shamika Michelle. You can get that on Extra Fearless. Also, Delano Squires and I will be talking about James Carville. You guys know James Carville, the Democratic operative, longtime traditional Democrat. He did something very interesting last week. He fired. He sent a warning shot to the alphabet mafia and the identity politics people. He did a sit-down interview with Sugar Britches, I call him. I think his name's Jonathan Capehart. He appears on MSNBC. James Carville sat down with him and like, hey, you useful idiots, we're done with you. I'm not sure if Capehart got the message, but I certainly did. Fearless Extra, you don't want to miss that content. Today's show, I'm sorry. How do you get that? You go to blazetv.com and use my promo code, Fearless, and you can get $20 off your Blaze subscription with the Fearless TV, so you can get that content. Go to blazetv.com/fearless. Use the promo code Fearless, $20 off your yearly subscription. Before I go back to my fire starter and the show today, we want to thank our great friends at Good Ranchers. This episode is brought to you by Good Ranchers. Use my code there, Fearless, at goodranchers.com. And with your subscription, you can claim $100 off plus free smoked brats for a year while supporting veterans. This Independence Day, it's time to revolt and claim your independence from the grocery store meat aisle. Do it with Good Ranchers. They support us. They support you. They have great product. All right, let me get into today's show. Pride Month. It came to an end yesterday, and as has become a kind of rite of passage, a ritual, the alphabet mafia, the LGBTQIA plus silent P crowd, they went nuts. They went nuts. They let their little boys hang. They did some of the most perverted public stuff you will ever see, and people were outraged, or they certainly appeared to be outraged over social media. We can't play much of what went on in San Francisco. We can't play that because it's just too obscene. I'm choosing not to show you video in New York City, I think at Washington Park, where the alphabet mafia turned on itself and a massive brawl broke out as, you know, the LGBTQ and the emotional crowd, and particularly, let's just keep it real, the black emotional crowd, they went to war with each other. Not going to show it, not going to be exploitive. One, YouTube doesn't like when you show the useful idiots beating up each other and turning violent towards each other. But it's just unnecessary. You've seen it all before. Every year at this time of year, we're treated to videos of their parades and them stripping down butt naked and gyrating and showing their penis and vagina in front of little kids. It's all crazy I'm going to show you this one video, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry, but I want to show you this G-string rapper. I think I don't know who it is. Some people thought it was Sam Smith. I don't think it's Sam Smith, but it's what I'm calling the G-string rapper. Let's play this video. This is the kind of content we're used to getting Pride Month, and particularly at the end of it. That's Pride Month, and that's how you wrap up Pride Month, with that type of event, that type of performance, that type of entertainment. And everybody shared that video and shared other videos. I guess in San Francisco, there were videos. I saw the still images, men giving oral sex to each other, men urinating on each other. This is all out in public. And there were people out reporting on this and saying, like, the police were said that the rules in terms as it relates to indecent public behavior, they're all thrown out the window during the month of June so that the alphabet mafia can showcase, highlight their sexual behavior, their sexual lust, their sexual perversion, because they want to normalize it. I want to play you a clip. I believe the woman's name is Savannah Hernandez, and I think she went to San Francisco's Pride Parade over the weekend, and she filed this report about what she saw and just how disgusting it was. Let's play the clip.
Okay, I feel physically ill after spending the day at San Francisco Pride. Now, I've been to quite a few Pride events, but this one was by far the most disturbing, and it was because there were nudists there that were fully erect in front of children, standing in a way to make sure that everybody saw their fully exposed penises. There were adults grabbing other people's genitals and other adults masturbating. There was a fetish zone in which people were peeing on each other. So again, too, I'm shocked and horrified after experiencing this. Keep in mind that this is an all ages event. There were children present. The fetish zone was an 18+ area, but there were no IDs being checked. And again, there were adults essentially having sex in public. I am shocked. I've never experienced such a vulgar display of promiscuity. I mean, I don't even know what to say in terms of this. I'm shocked and horrified, and I don't think I'm ever going to cover Pride ever again after what I witnessed today. It was the worst of the worst. It was bad.
So, take a deep breath, because I'm about to irritate many of you. Those of you that are familiar with me and my point of view, what I'm about to say won't shock you, but there will be many that will be bothered by, because I look at what this woman's reporting on as like we're in on it too. Those of us that are pretending to be outraged and or are genuinely outraged, we're in on this. We cover this every year. Look at the Pride people. Look at the LGBTQ alphabet mafia. Look at how depraved and crazy and promiscuous and just in love with their sexual identity the LGBTQIA plus silent P crowd is. We get content out of this. We get social media traction out of showcasing, highlighting the depravity of the alphabet mafia. Do we ever take the steps necessary to stop this, to have this dissipate and or diminish? Or do we actually enjoy documenting, showcasing, building social media platforms off of this content. I am not criticizing this woman, not remotely. I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong. I'm asking us to question ourselves and to ask ourselves, what are we doing, one, to stop it and or promote it? Because we're doing virtually nothing to stop it, and we seem most interested in promoting it for our own social media traction. Why do I say that? I say that because none of us seem outraged when it's heterosexual promiscuity being showcased, celebrated, when it's being used to groom young children into heterosexual promiscuity and perversion and depraved behavior. Why do I say that? I say that because there's been, for the past 2 weeks, maybe a little longer, there's been a woman that we only know by the name Hawk-Tuah, who's been very popular over social media. She has become a huge celebrity. She's getting her 15 minutes of fame, and we all love her. We never complain about her. This weekend, again, while all the pride stuff was going on and we're repulsed, she's being pedestaled and put on a platform at the Zach Bryan concert right here in Nashville, Tennessee, at Nissan Stadium. There's 50, 60,000 people inside Nissan Stadium to see one of the best singers in the music industry today. Zach Bryan. You could have knocked me over with a feather if 10 years ago I would say this. But I'm a fan of Zach Bryan. His music is tremendous. He has to have concerts at huge stadiums because he's so popular. Well, guess who he brought on the stage this weekend here in Nashville? Hawk-Tuah Girl. We don't know Hawk-Tuah Girl. We don't know her name. We don't know her age. We don't know anything about her. All we know is she became popular over social media because in an interview with a social media content creator, she described her technique for giving oral sex and pleasing a man. We know nothing about her. She could be a high school junior for all we know. She could be a college sophomore. She could be a mother of 3. We don't know. All we know is that she described how she gives head in an interview that went public and went viral. We're good with that. We will celebrate that. We will put her on a pedestal and invite her on stage with Zach Bryan and say, hey, everybody, here's Hawk-Tuah Girl. Look how great she is. She's up here singing with Zach Bryan. She's the greatest thing going. And I know many of you are like, who is Jason Whitlock talking about? Hawk-Tuah Girl. Because you got to be on social media to be following this. And some of you I know are not on social media, but she is a social media sensation the last 2 weeks. And I want to play you the video of what made her famous and made her this social media sensation. It's a very, well, it's just a short clip, but play the clip. This is what made this woman famous.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk-Tuah and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hawk-Tuah and spit on it. Spit on it! If I see you anymore.
That's why she's famous. We don't know her name. We don't know her age. We don't know if she's got kids. We don't know if she got parents. We don't know anything. What we do know is that little short clip made Zach Bryan and Zach Bryan's girlfriend hunt her down, because I think Zach Bryan's girlfriend, who works for Barstool, was the first person to hunt this woman down and do an interview with Hawk-Tuah Girl. Since 2007, Folds of Honor has provided life-changing scholarships to the spouses and children of America's fallen or disabled in combat. And in 2023, this was extended to include the families of fallen first responders. They've awarded 51,000 scholarships and more than $200 million so far. And the need is still great. But together, we can make sure no qualified applicant is turned away. We can do it by supporting Flying Ace, has aligned with Folds of Honor to ensure the children of our American heroes receive the education they deserve. As proud supporters of Folds of Honor, Flying Ace has had the privilege of providing hope for the families of those who protect our freedom. To that end, Flying Ace is proudly sponsoring 4 scholarships awarded quarterly this year. Please, if you can, donate today and help them make a great impact. Go to flyingacespirits.com or scan the QR code on the screen. The link is also in the show notes. When you purchase a bottle of Flying Ace, you will also be donating to Folds of Honor. Make sure you use the promo code Whitlock and get free shipping on every order. That's flyingacespirits.com, promo code Whitlock. What did Hawk-Tuah Girl do to justify an interview and attention? She talked about spitting on a man's penis and pleasuring him publicly. That's her claim to fame. This is a blonde-haired, Sexy Red. Sexy Red, the rapper that, came from out of nowhere and does all them nursery school rhymes, my booty hole brown, my coochie pink, that girl. This is the little blonde version of that. You can sit there and say, hey, Whitlock has no sense of humor. This is just fun. Hey, you remember when you were young, blah, blah. Yes, I do remember when I was young. And I do remember there was a time when women and even men would be very reluctant to go on camera and discuss their sex life, their sex techniques. They would be like, hey, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to put myself out there as a whore. I don't want to embarrass my family. I don't want to embarrass my brothers and sisters. I don't want to embarrass my classmates. I don't want to define myself as someone who's a whore. We used to have a culture where women tried to present themselves as honorable and as modest and moral. Men used to make an attempt to present themselves as modest and moral. I mean, we really did. We made an attempt. We made an attempt to have a public life and a personal life. We no longer do that. How does this connect to pride? I've explained this to you before, but this is just another example of the hypocrisy and the foolishness of those of us that are heterosexual. We think we can make our heterosexual identity our most important identity and the one that we share with the world. And we think that gay people won't look and say, well, look at the heterosexuals. They've normalized centering, celebrating, promoting their sexual lust, their sexual perversion, their lack of sexual discipline. And so the gay crowd, the LGBTQIA+, they want to be normal just like the heterosexual crowd. And so we center heterosexuals. We have Pride Year. 365 days a year, we stuff our sexual lust down everyone's throat. You can't turn on a movie, you can't turn on a TV show without seeing heterosexual sex and lust and immorality centered in everything. I mean, yeah, just think of all the movies, and even go back to the old school movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s. How many just like, why is this sex scene here? It doesn't really advance the story. And did we really have to have nudity in this movie in order for it to be funny, in order for it to be compelling? Or is this stuff just added in to promote your sexual identity as your primary identity? And so if we're going to do it as heterosexuals 365 days a year, 24/7, if we're going to celebrate Hawk-Tuah Girl, Kim Kardashian, Sexy Red, if we're going to celebrate our sexual identity, why shouldn't they? They get a month to do it. And they sit there and say, hey man, your kids go to movies that have gratuitous sex scenes and gratuitous unnecessary nudeness all the time. You allow them to go to these movies. You rent these movies for them. You give them access to Amazon Prime and Netflix, and you take them to movies where sexuality and sexual lust and nudity are constantly shoved down their face. You do that all year. We have 1 month to do what you all do all year. And we wonder why they go crazy with it. We wonder why they're out in the middle of the streets, butt naked, gyrating in front of kids. Because they get 1 month to do it. They want to be normal just like us. We did this. And I hate to sound like some old fuddy-duddy, because when I say we, I'm definitely talking about me. So this isn't me distancing myself. This isn't me wagging my finger at you. It's wagging my finger at us. This Hawk-Tuah girl and her popularity, it says something about us, that she hops on a video and says, hey, I'm a whore, and here's how I like to give oral sex. And she knows, let me walk through. She suspects. I don't think she knew anything. But she's just getting interviewed by a random social media content creator. She's not thinking that, hey, I'm going to be a big star, or I'm going to get my 15 minutes of fame. But she knows it's been normalized. She's seen Kim Kardashian, what a sex tape did for Kim Kardashian. She's seen what rapping and talking about sex has done for Sexy Red. And so when in an organic moment on the street, getting interviewed by some clown who's, again, there was a time when men, the little boy that's asking her the question, there was a time when a boy would be and say, you ain't gonna ask no woman that out in public. You just gonna run around with a camera and throw a mic in a woman's face and say, hey, what do you do in bed to please your man? There was a time that would have gotten you beaten up. There was a time when people would have been like, this perverted MF running around asking women to describe sex to him. He doesn't know her. He's putting her on camera. He's holding her up for ridicule and shame. There was a time when we would have frowned on that, and that clown would have been put in his place. But that time has now evaporated. It's no longer exists. This 4th of July, claim your independence from the meat aisle. Prices are up, quality is down, and there are more imports than ever. It's time to revolt. GoodRanchers.com is the #1 place to get 100% American meat for this uniquely American holiday. Celebrate the sweet taste of freedom with savory meats conveniently delivered right to your door, and they're all born, raised, and made right here in the US of A. Whether you're hosting a backyard barbecue, a poolside party, or a beach bonfire, Good Ranchers has you covered. In fact, Right now, you can save on Good Ranchers meat like never before. Subscribe to any Good Ranchers box now and get $100 off plus free smoked brats for a year. It's more than just a great deal. It's a chance to celebrate America by supporting American family farms and enjoying the highest quality American meat. All you have to do to claim this offer is to go to goodranchers.com and subscribe to any of their custom curated boxes filled with 100% American beef, chicken, pork, or wild-caught seafood. Use my promo code FEARLESS at checkout to claim your $100 off and free smoked brats for a year. Get free shipping on all your orders and make this Independence Day one to remember. If you needed any other reason to support Good Ranchers, they're also amazing partners on this show, but they support the paralyzed veterans of America too. Every order saves American farms and supports American veterans. Change the way you buy meat today at goodranchers.com and use my promo code FEARLESS to claim your $100 off plus free brats for a year. Make this Independence Day unforgettable with food that brings everyone together and flavors that honor the spirit of America. Goodranchers.com. American meat delivered. And so Snoop Dogg is a role model. All the rappers who rap constantly about sex, they're role models. They appear at Super Bowl halftime shows. They get commercial deals. They're centered as the epitome of this culture and what everybody should aspire to. So the social media, the content creator there, he's not rapping, but he's doing his social media version of Snoop or any of the popular rappers. And she's doing her impersonation of Kim Kardashian. And they're enjoying, he got a viral video out of it, and now she's getting invited to concerts. She gets to go on stage and sing with Zach Bryan. No one knows anything about her. No one cares anything about her. All we know is that she likes to, and I guess knows how to please a man through oral sex. And so if we as heterosexuals don't start embracing morality and modesty, and we don't start shaming these little whores, if we don't take all the coolness out of being the next Kim Kardashian, the pride stuff is going nowhere. I don't blame the gays. They're just reflecting our attitudes and our behavior. We set the tone for this. And I'm talking about all of us that, and I know many of you said, hey, I don't like nudity in movies, and I'm a Christian, and I'm this, and I'm that, but no one pays a price. We're all, again, I talk about this all the time. That's why everybody wants to call themselves a conservative. Because you can be a conservative and embrace every form of immorality under the sun. You don't have to object to immorality if you call yourself a conservative. You're free to do everything that liberals do. Everything. And that's why it's a gimmick. The whole conservative liberal thing, it's all a gimmick. There's nothing conservatives can't do that liberals can do. That's why I keep talking about you have to identify as a Christian. Then, now there are limits on your behavior. There are guidelines and standards that actually benefit society overall. It protects our kids. It protects their innocence. It protects them from being groomed and exploited. I feel sorry for Hawk-Tuah Girl. I feel sorry for her parents. I feel sorry for her family. I feel sorry for whoever groomed her or didn't put a stop to or didn't teach her that, like, hey, I don't care what the world is doing. The whole world is leaning into their sexuality. You don't have to do that. There's a higher identity, Christian. There's a higher power you have to answer to. If you actually want to create a society and be a part of a society where kids aren't gyrated in front of by naked men, if you want to create a society where kids aren't in public schools and the teachers talking to them about their sexuality and who they went on vacation with over the summer and what's their identity. If you want one of those societies, if you want that to come back, that normalcy, if you want that to return, we have to stop with the glorification of heterosexual identities and heterosexual sex. We have to start, the couple of weeks ago, no, it was roll call weekend. I forget Nick's last name, but Nick works with a guy, Timothy Gordon, a Catholic apologist who's been on this show. And Nick stuck around after roll call to interview me for a couple of projects they're doing. And so this is on Sunday. We have roll call on Saturday, on Friday and Saturday. They come in, and then Nick sticks around until Sunday to interview me. We come here to my office. His wife comes with him. And I can remember pull up in the parking lot here at the studio, and Nick and his wife hop out of the car, and Nick is another Catholic. And his wife hops out of her car, and she's dressed 1930s, 1940s. You know, she looks like a Catholic mom from the 1920s or 30s. She's dressed very modestly. And I remember thinking in my head, like, yeah, that's odd for 2024. But I also remember thinking in my head is that's necessary for 2024. If women don't start covering up and leaving their sexuality for their husband, the man that they married, it's not for everybody. And listen, I know it sounds crazy coming from a guy that spent his 20s and 30s in and out of strip clubs, in and out of chasing women that quite similar to Hawk-Tuah. It sounds crazy coming from me. The only reason it's coming from me is because I'm now wise enough and the scales have been taken off my eyes that I realize the consequence of my previous behavior and of women centering their sexuality. I've realized the consequence of it. It's not, trust me, if left to my own devices, I would much rather run into Hawk-Tuah Girl than some woman that was dressed like Nick's wife, very modestly and presenting herself as if she's modest and moral. If left to my own devices, I would prefer half-naked women just run around everywhere. But now I realize the consequences, that kids aren't safe, that kids are being groomed for sexual perversion, castration. All of this gender identity confusion is because we are walking kids long before their brains are developed into thoughts and conversations and ideas about sexuality that their brains aren't ready for. Kids just need to be left alone and allowed to be kids. And the only way that's going to happen is if we embrace modesty and morality. if we normalize that so that kids can get to be age 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20 before they have to think about their sexuality, their gender. But because we have centered our heterosexual lust so much, and you turn on a TV and every commercial, there's some scantily clad woman, there's some woman talking about I can buy over-the-counter birth control pills. There's every rap song is filled with rhymes about sex. And so now 4 and 5 and 3-year-olds are thinking about sex and what gets their rocks off. There's a price we're paying for the lack of discipline. I think about E. Michael Jones and his book and his argument that sexual liberation, it's a tool for political control, political exploitation, for corruption of a culture and a society. Hawk-Tuah Girl is not harmless. And I'm not trying to demonize her. She's a victim of the culture just like everybody else. Again, I have no idea how old this girl is. But I do know she needs to quit publicly presenting herself like a slut and a whore. And we need to call her out for being a slut and a whore. And if we call out her for being a slut and a whore and make her pay a price for that, we're less likely to see the depravity and immorality every Pride Month. We've normalized perversion. We made Hugh Hefner, a pornographer, a normal, respected member of society. We made Snoop Dogg a normal, respected member of society. We don't call the wicked pornographers wicked and pornographic and obscene. We don't call them what they are, little pimps, little pedophiles, people that want to groom young people into sexual promiscuity. That's what they are. So I'm just saying this to say, if you want to see less of Pride Month, you're going to have to see a lot less of heterosexual year. You get that, heterosexuals. We celebrate our lust 24/7, 365. And it never crosses our mind that, oh, okay, we've just legalized drag shows. We've just legalized that transgender nut job who's a teacher at your school into talking to your kids about their transgenderism and, how they like to bend over and take it up the rear. We legalized all of that. And so when I see the fat dude in the G-string rapping, I sit there and go, I did that. All them columns I wrote, all the radio shows and TV shows I did promoting my sexual stupidity, celebrating it, trying to be the ultimate guy that, ran around. We did that. It's you can be mad at the LGBT and alphabet mafia, and look, you know where I stand on it. I'm crystal clear. But if we want them back in the closet, if we want them reflecting normal behavior, we have to normalize modesty and morality. They're immoral because we set the stage, we set the standard for immorality. We have no discipline. Anyway, I think that's all I want to say today. I want to keep it simple. I want to make that point. I need to hammer that point so it just, till you get it. You can keep pointing your fingers at the alphabet crew. We did it. Blame me, blame yourself. Even if you ain't feel like I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, you did. If you went to them movies, if you listened to that music, if you didn't object, if you're not carrying yourself with some modesty and morality, you might as well be out here in a G-string, gyrating and doing stupid rap songs like the fat white guy in that video. That's it. Play tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.
Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want freedom. I just want, I wanna be. I just want, I wanna be. I just want, I wanna be. I just want.